Hey everybody, thank you so much for dropping by. And today what we're going to do is cover the part of the supplements and vitamins what we were talking about. What I'm going to do is start with the omega-3s. You know, we hear so much and we see on our labels when we're reading off a product that we're buying in a store. But I'm not going to stop there. Omega-3 and omega-6 seems to be the important ones, you know, in all the research that I did. So I'm going to be covering about those and slightly brushing off the omega-9s. Yeah, there is a lot. There's omega-3, 6, well, 5, 6, 7, 9, and also 11. But you know what? I'm not going to cover them all. Omega-3 and 6 is the most important in the polyunsaturated fat zone when we're reading off a label. Do we really know what we're reading? Do we really know the quantity and the ratio that is given to us, if it's important or not? You know what? Let's cover that. And you know what, before you say, okay, omegas are not for me, I'm not taking it, but you might be surprised by this research that I've been reading. And how important sometimes it may be good to have a right balance and how to have that right balance. Stick around, I'll explain all that. I'll explain how, you know, you take a look and moving forward, if I need to take them, when, how much, what ratio, quality, everything about them. Going forward on that, I'm going to cover. So without any ado, guys, if you like this, you know, what you're seeing, please subscribe or hit that bell button. As you could see, it's not every week that I, you know, cover everything or that I'm able to post a video, all depending on my schedule. And let's cover these puppies. Let's see if they're really good for us and how much do we need. So let's back up. 1970s, 1980s, where did this all start from? Well, the Inuits from Greenland and some people from the Japanese, which didn't have much heart issues or cardiovascular issues. And they thought it was because of the quality of fish. But unfortunately, later on, demystified and proven to be wrong. But you know what? We still need those omega-3s and omega-6 in our diet because they are essential. Our bodies can't create them, so we need to find them in our food. It's like, remember that protein video I did on amino acids, the 9 essential amino acids? Here is the chart. You guys remember? Well, you need to find those in your food every day for your nails, hair, eyes, muscles, skin. You know, same thing as for the omegas. You need to find those in your food. Now, let's take a look before moving forward just to understand that the different types of fats that there are out there. I wrote up I put up a small and quick little PowerPoint for you guys. Here are the different type of fats in our food. You know, as you can see, there's saturated and unsaturated. But before we go there, these types have short, medium, and long chain, which you hear medium and long chain a lot, which are healthy for, you know, health because they don't cause, you know, health issues. And you'll find them in coconut and, you know, so on. But we won't get there. You know, we won't start, you know, going through them because it takes a long time to explain those. Then we got saturated and unsaturated fats. Yeah, I know you see saturated heading towards cholesterol, but you know what? It's not all that bad because we need cholesterol. Us as men also, we need it. You know, we need to create it. And when we're in the sun, you know, vitamin D needs to be created from cholesterol and so on and so forth. So, you know, nothing bad so far as much as in quantity and how it's made. So I'm just here to show you the different kind of fats. Then there's polyunsaturated fats. Those are the ones we're going to be covering, omega-3s and omega-6. Then you got to know a little bit about the acronyms, unfortunately, but it's what you will see on omega-3 bottles. There's the DHA and EPA. And there's also another type which we'll cover, which is the ALA, okay, which that comes mostly from vegetarian. The other one comes from animals. But let's cover that. And I won't even bother with, you know, telling you how to, you know, say it. Then there's monounsaturated fats, omega-9s, trans fats, which are found in animal food like meat, you know, and your body, what that trans fat gets into your arteries, it takes from 7 to 10 days for your body to naturally get rid of it. But when it's man-made, that's when it's bad. That's when your body takes up to 51 days to clear out your arteries when you eat trans fat. That's why the whole world is trying to get rid of them. I know that they have a few months left here in Canada to get rid of them, completely, which that started like 2 years ago. Let's move forward. Let's review these acronyms. ALA, DHA, and EPA. Don't worry, it's simple. I'm not gonna, like I said, I won't tar you with the alpha leoninic acids and all these terms, but let's just review the simple acronyms. ALA, where can you find them? How much you need to take them, how much you need to eat. Where is ALA found? Well, ALA is found from all vegetable sources. And in a way, ALA, once you eat it, it transforms it to omega-3 EPA into your body. But the ratio and the conversion is very low. But let's keep up. If I just take a look at the flax seeds and chia seeds, chia seeds, the conversion ratio is about 1 to about 2% that it'll convert. So like, let's say you got to eat 1,000 milligrams to almost get like 100 grams if it was like 10%. So where do you find it else apart from flax seeds and chia seeds? Well, you could find in soya beans, you could find in canola oil, which is not suggested that you take canola oil. It's found in krill oil. Krill oil is from a little shrimp almost. It's like a little fish. So that's way healthier too, because in a way these fishes, it's like the rule of the small fish. The toxins don't get too much into them. They don't have time to get much mercury into them, so they're pretty clean. As if you get a tuna that's like a 600 or 700 pounds or even more, the level of mercury that you'll find in bigger fish is a lot more. And then you got walnuts. And tell you the truth, 1/4 of a cup of walnuts will give you about basically 2 grams of ALA required. I know these are acronyms, but hey, if you're vegetarian, that's where you find them. Now, if you eat meat, this is when the DHA and the EPA come in effect. And that's what you see on the omega bottles when you buy them. You'll find it mostly in fatty fish source, like salmon. Here, let me put it for you. Salmon, the Pacific sardines, or the mackerel, and any fatty fish that you'll find. Yeah, I had this bizarre question asked to me. It's like, pop quiz, where does these fish find their omegas? They don't have any supplements? Not really. They eat the algae from the bottom of the ocean, and their body transforms it into omegas. That was a good one. So, how many of these essential omega-3s do we require every day? Well, very important that we do get them, because to start off, our brain membrane is mainly composed of DHA. So you see how important that is. Yeah, I know that skull looks scary mostly. But that's the only brain thing that I could really create with my programs. So DHA is extremely important for brain health and development. And the dose you would require for ALA, essential fat that you need to find in your diet every day. Doesn't matter if your age, we're talking adult, let's say moving forward, and your weight. The dose every day for ALA for a man is 1.6 grams. And for women, it seems to vary from 1.1 to 1.3 in different studies. So round it off to 1.2 and you're going to be fine. Again, when you get ALA, the transformation of EPA from the ALA, the conversion is so low that you probably need to find it elsewhere and get enough in your other food that you may find. What's the dose for DHA and EPA that you need to find as much as fed for men and women? It's 0.5 grams, so 500 milligrams. 3 fatty fish per week will be suffice. Now, I'm sorry if you're allergic to fish, There are other sources that you could get it from, but I'm just, giving you the standards here. And I apologize if you're allergic to nuts also, that could be something else. So I can't cover everything, but I mean, still, just look for what you require. Just type in ALA on Google. Where can I find ALA in most food? And you'll see where you can find the highest amount. So my other question was, if I don't get enough omegas in my diet, what's going to happen to my health? What happens to my health? Well, even though omega-3, the good ratio of omega-3 is hard to find in our diet, there's no way you cannot find it in food. It's all over the place. And even there, you take milk sometimes, it's fortified with omegas. You take eggs, it's fortified with omegas. So it's everywhere. But I know moving forward with that, you're going to ask me, should then I be taking omega-3 supplements? You know what? We're going to get to that, and you'll see how important that is. Yes or no? Okay, I won't tell you the answer. I'll let you figure out for yourself after all this. Even though we see omega-3 out there, fortified and all that kind of stuff, you know what? Our body, and I want you to walk away with this. I want you to walk away after this video is understanding that omega-3 to omega-6 ratio should be 1:1. That's the most important part. And you know what? Our body, since the beginning, let's say we evolved around a ratio of 1:1 from omega-6 to omega-3, or omega-3 to omega-6. Ratio 1:1. We should have the same portion. And unfortunately, with all this ultra transformed food and bad oils and everything like that I explained in the oil video that I did, for Canada, our ratio varies from 13 to 15 to 1, omega-6 to omega-3. And the Western diet, well, US is even worse, it's 18, but the Western diet varies from 15 to 18 to 1. This is why there's so much inflammation, there's so much cardiovascular issues. Here's a chart that I removed off PubMed, the research done, and you could see all these links. Every time I talk about something specific, they're all in my links below, all in my notes. If you guys want to read it, they're there. Since 1960, oh boy, if you even go back even more, 1930, it started going up exponentially. And the chart ends at 2005. Imagine, we're 2021. How it is now with our food that changed even in the last 10 years. No wonder the ratio is 18:1 in Western states. Well, Western countries, should I say. Well, here's the byproduct and cause and effect of this, and the pathogenesis of many diseases, including having a bad ratio of omega-6 to omega-3, cardiovascular disease, cancer, inflammatory issues, and autoimmune disease. As you include a better diet of omega-3 versus omega-6, or at least make it 1:1, there's a suppressive effects. Now, this one blew me away. Cardiovascular disease, 4:1. Colorectal cancer, 4:1. And the best one, breast cancer, 23:1 ratio. Wow. Inflammation, rheumatitis, arthritis, 5:1. And this one surprised me. Asthma of a ratio 10:1. But it shouldn't surprise me because asthma is a kind of inflammation in your lung. And the list just keeps going on. So you see how important this is? Yeah, even in the US National Library of Medicine shows. Here's a picture. Omega-6 polyunsaturated fat is a broad cholesterol lowering health claim, whatever. And here, Health Canada Food reviewed the available published literature, concluded that when saturated fats were replaced with polyunsaturated fat acids, the anyway, if you keep on lowering, it lowers your LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol, where there's a reduction of risk of coronary disease. So all research are there, university studies are there. It's just the bad diet, unfortunately, now that we have with all this transformed, food. Is there a way to stay away from it? Well, just keep your ratio of omega-6 to omega-1 as much as possible, 1-to-1. I'm not saying the omega-6 is bad, but yes, anything exaggerated or overdose like we have in our food right now is bad, yes. So if you keep a good average and a good ratio and balance it out every day, good. If you don't think you had a proper diet that day, that's when you may think of supplementing yourself with an omega-3, balancing out that diet that you had maybe just an overboard of omega-6 and you balance it out with an omega-3 supplement. Your choice. So it's not easy when you take a look at what the manufacturers do out there, since manufacturers really don't indicate it that much today and don't really help you out. So I try to stay away from these guys. But let's take a look. Look at the bread over here. Let's make a choice here. The first tree on your right, no polyunsaturated fats written. Doesn't mean there isn't any. It just means that they're not putting it there. And I don't agree with that. But if you take a look on the left, at least these guys may cost 75 cents more for a loaf. But at least they write it. So the best one right now, I wouldn't go for the one company on the left because it's a 4-to-1 average or ratio to omega-6 to omega-3. I want to go for the omega-6 to 3, like 0.4 to 0.3. The ratio is almost 1-to-1, okay? So let's say you had this bread in the morning. You had one slice. Plus you took some eggs. Yeah, natural. The chickens are running outside. It's sourced and fortified with omega-3s. Holy shit, thank God, huh? Look at that, 0.4 to 0.6. Or is that a 0.6 or is that 0.8? It's a 0.8. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. Yeah, thank God that they fortified with omega. You know why? Sorry. That the omega-6 is higher? It's because the chicken is eating grains, which unfortunately are OMG, pesticide, heated up, oil extracted the wrong way. Just what you put in is what you get out. The chicken eats it, lays the eggs have it. So there you go. So right now with the bread and the eggs, you're already in deficit of, your negative ratio of omega-6 is higher than your omega-3. All right, let's have a glass of milk with that. Polyunsaturated 0.8. Great, you don't even know what the average is. It could be 0.8 of omega-6. So just for the sake of it, let's just put them equal. 0.4, 0.4, omega-6 and omega-3 equal. Okay, well, let's keep them balanced. Let's try to take a look at the good side. All right. That's what you had in the breakfast. Let's stay to that, okay? Then you're taking a look at the Country Harvest. Okay, before moving forward, let's just say this is what you had for breakfast, what we just discussed about. Let's take a look at Country Harvest. Supposed to be healthy. Country Harvest. All these beautiful grains, 12 and essential. Look at the omega-6. 1 gram, omega-3, 0.2. We're talking a 5-to-1 ratio. And, we're talking 1 gram, so it's 1,000 milligrams. It's a lot higher. Look at this. If you had cereals, 0.4, 0 for omega-3, 4 to 0, 4 to 1 in a ratio. Wow. Okay, so thank God we didn't have those. I just took what I saw as cereals that at least would show us what they have. Now my kid says for lunch, he goes, Dad, can you make us some, French fries? These like little tater crisp French fries, McCain. 3 grams of omega-6 compared to omega-3, 0.4. You just take your hand, taking a few to put it on a plate, and your hands are all greasy. Thank God it got some monounsaturated fats in there, 3 grams, but we're concentrating on the omega-6 and omega-3s. So, okay, let's clean up, he says. Let's keep it clean. Let's take one of Mother's salad. One of Mother's salad was supposed Fontaine Santé, which means healthy, fountain. Anyways, santé means health. Yeah, look at this. 1.5 grams of omega-6 to 0.3 grams of omega-3s. Yes, it's high in monounsaturated, which kind of unbalances everything out. But if you just concentrate on these two, you're already in a deficit of so much. And then he goes, okay, let's, with those fries, give me some fish. There you go. Hand off. But pan, bad oil, everything, 3.5 grams to 2 grams. We're almost close, but not good enough. Monounsaturated, yeah, okay, because of the fish. But you know why these values, 3.5 to 2? Take a look at ingredients. Bread, toasted wheat crumbs and spices, and canola oil. That's what causes it. So right now, your ratio of what you ate for breakfast and lunch is 3 to 1. Higher. Omega-6 is 3 to 1 compared to omega-3s. How would you unbalance that? Well, let's just say some will say, okay, I'll grab myself a can of tuna. Not much omegas in there, unfortunately. It's like 0.1 to 0.2 if you take a look. Well, if you want something, if you like tuna, what tastes like tuna is almost a mackerel, the wild mackerel. I got this one at Costco. Look at this, 3.5 to 1. And monounsaturated, 10 grams. So this almost balances out everything back to 1 to 1. See how 3 fatty fish per week almost comes and provides you with the proper omega-3s. You just got to be careful out there for to balance out your omega-6 to omega-3. Make sure you got the right ratio. Just take a look at your labels. Always read your labels. If you see the omega-6 or skyrocket, you're sure you're going to find some bad oil in there. Once in a while, it's not the end of the world. I understand that. We got to cheat sometimes. But, why not, instead of lunch, do like I do. Get yourself some cereals, which I have, which are high in omega-3. Dump them in a little bit of, yogurt. Grind some chia seeds to make better absorption in your body, because those little grains sometimes just go right through your gut because they don't get dissolved properly. I grind them through a coffee grinder. They come down to a pulp. They're almost like sand. So that way, as soon as they hit, my intestines or my gut, they're better absorbed. And you look at the ratio, 4.5 to 1.5. If you're only going to absorb like a few percentage, you might as well absorb as much as you can. And or do the same thing for flax seeds. Flax seeds are a little bit more absorbed. But like I said, if you're a man, you may watch the quantity of flax seeds that you take for the estrogen, which that may come in other issues. And then you may grind a little bit of nuts in there. If you remember my nut video, I did everything on it. I explained everything. And if you take Brazilian nuts, they're 2 to 1 ratio. But trust me, the value of omega-6 to omega-3, even though it's 2 to 1 for the Brazilian nuts, it's really not the same, the omega-6, as you would find, like, let's say, in bread or milk or man-made omega-6. These come really from the natural, from the nut. Yes, you still got to watch your balance and ratio, but the omega-6 is really not the same. Same quality I'm talking about. And macadamia nuts are almost non-existing, the omega-6, so, it's like, there you go. So just snapshot this, chart. I worked pretty hard on that to give you. So basically, who should take these omega-3s? Well, people would try glycerin levels, which are too high, circulatory issues, yes or no? Well, to tell you the truth, if you take the drugstore or health store omega-3s, you may find very little changes or very little effect in changing your triglycerides. But I always say any positive effect is a good effect. So all depending on the quality that you want to go for. Because to make a real positive effect, and that's all what they always seem to go in medical, is to see something really fast and now, and they want to see it, within a few days that they're giving it to you. They want to see a positive effect. And there was clinical studies, over 4,000, and I got the study below. If you want, 4,000 patients showed that they require 4 grams of extremely purified form per day to see a difference in cardiovascular, issues or changes. So that means omega-3 is still, it's positive. Yeah, but if you're going to take it to the drugstore at $10, 100 pills, 100 supplements in there, for $10, quality might not be the same. It might not be purified. It might not be as pure as it is. So, it might not be made with the same oil. Might not be the quality fish oil, might be something else. So yeah, let's take a look at these. But before, the one positive effect on omega-3 standard on the market made a positive effect on dried your eyes. Yeah. So before it reaches your eyes, I say, yeah, it's, it does something in your body if it does something for your eyes, because the eyes, it takes so long for something you would eat to go up in your little arteries in your eyes and start making an effect. So yeah, omega-3 does make a positive effect. It's just like, unfortunately, the quality that is on our market is not that good. But hey, let's take a look. First of all, I got this website here. Let me just open the website for you. Yeah, let's take a look at LabDoor. These are third-party verification on all kind of rankings and products. The complex VCCs. Let's take a look at fish oil. There you go. So they got different. Let's take a look at quality rankings, okay? Because that's what we're interested in. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, 87.5%. Okay, what do they have in? They have 1,185 omega-3s. Okay, good. 652 of EPA, that's for inflammation, so it's as good as for your brain as for it is everywhere in your body. That's why people like this kind of ratio compared to the DHA, which is a ratio for your brain. And sometimes it turns out to be 1-to-1 ratio. But this kind of ratio is what I like also. Can we see what's in there? Ingredients. Fish gelatin, water gelatin, natural orange flavor, rosemary. You'll see this kind of things that brought into most product because they're preservatives. Why? Because the omega-3s are very fragile oils and they oxidize very quick. So you'll find vitamin E, you'll find rosemary, you'll find all kind of stuff in there, and sometimes to preserve the oil moving forward. So fish oil, anchovies, mackerel, sardines. Perfect. What else you want? Why is it at 87%? Well, label accuracy. This is what I like to see. What they tell you they put in is 99% accurate. I love this. This is perfect. Let's back out. Let's go completely at the bottom. Let's take the last one. And let's take a look at why this guy is at F and not recommended. Okay. 54%. Ouch. Okay, what's in here? Oh, label accuracy. Wow. I wouldn't even go further here. 52%. At this point, what is the other half that they're putting it in? Gelatin, sugar, salt, whatever in your thing? Just normal water, to make it look like, So what they're selling you, like let's say each gel, let's say that would cost you $1. So actually they're putting it's supposed to cost you 50 cents because it's not worth $1. They're only putting half of what they're telling you. So guys, this is the kind of thing that you got to watch for. This is the kind of thing that disappoints me when I see a product, unfortunately. So let's, with all this, let's take a look at a quick little PowerPoint that I made for you guys. So let's start with this one. 300 milligrams of DHA. Remember, that's for your brain. Okay. Okay, there we go. 300 DHA, EPA 9 milligrams. Oh my God, this is nothing. The ratio is really bad. I would have to take maybe like 5 of these for the day. No, just not enough. And it's unfortunate because whole earth and sea, looks like all natural. And I did these vitamins before, the multivitamins, and they were good. But this is the disappointment. How about this guy? Nutra C 1 daily. Well, let's take a look at the ratio. Ratio's not that bad, but what I don't like to see is the natural flavors. If the company's really good, it'll do something good about the natural flavors. But if it's not, natural flavors could contain up to 100 different chemicals to compose them. And the worst one, sunflower oil. Sunflower oil, it's not even organic, for crying out loud. It's not even cold pressed. If you're going to go for oil in these kind of supplements, first of all, let's make sure that they're OG, that, you know, they're cold pressed. Extremely important that they're cold pressed, and they're organic. They're not pesticide like crazy. So this is a big no for me. Well, not supposed to say yes or no. I would choose it. Let's just say the same thing as no, but I wouldn't. Here is why you would have to be careful to choose them. Here's another one, omega-3 brain health. Let's take a look. EPA and DHA, 100 milligrams. Not sufficient. Not sufficient for a day. You probably have to take 20 of those for the day. It's just not enough. Omega-3, Jameson. Yeah, I remember these guys. Well, let's take a look. Yeah, sorry for the quality. That's the best I could find. EPA and DHA, 300, 200. It's not enough. Again, the ratio is okay, but it's just not enough for the day, or to balance it out. 0.3, 0.2, no. These guys are surprisingly nice, and they impress me because the ratio of EPA to DHA is like, it's good, okay? The value is really high. Highly refined omega-3 fish oil, capsule, beef gelatin, gelatin purified water. Everything's fine in there and looks good. For me, the quantity, the quality, everything, anchovy, sardine, mackerel, what I'd like to see is a third party evaluate them, but yeah, they look pretty good. Krill oil, remember these small little fish? Yeah. What I've seen so far in most stores, and I'm not going to start going through the ingredients, is they're too low. They're like the rest of them, the value is too low of omega, DHA and EPA. So it's not something I would go for. But, in supplements, not something to worry about into, how would I say that, mercury and all that from fish and that, because they're really purified. But when you come and use oil, like sunflower seed oil, guys, this is when there's a red flag. You should be very careful in in choosing something else. Here's the one I choose, which is, this is in French, but EPA, 600, but DHA, it's 2-to-1 ratio. The quantities just suffice for what I need, and it's got vitamin E. I know it's hard to see here, but you could pause and enlarge it. It's got vitamin E to preserve it. Dark bottle, UV protected. So yeah, these guys come from different fish. So basically, yeah, this is the one I use. But if I do find better out there, I will use like that black bottle that I showed you, which I like, but it's like $10, I think, more expensive than this one would be with the same quantity. So guys, I hope this was enlightful towards omega. Sorry it's so long, but I try to cut it down so much. I started this video like 3 times to simplify it, because my wife kept on telling me simplify it even more, make it easier. Because I had a lot more information about DHA and EPA and what they do, how they react in the body. I might do a future video on that, but only if people ask for it. And with that said, guys, if you like the video, please share. And when you do subscribe, one thing that my wife told me is, explain to them what is subscribe. Doesn't mean because you subscribe that you have to do something or something you'll have, YouTube's gonna own you or what. No, subscribe just means you're telling YouTube that this information it was worth taking a look at, and you should share it. More subscribe, more thumbs up, more YouTube algorithm is going to take a look at it and going to say, okay, you know what? We're going to share this when somebody looks for omegas, and it's going to help them out too for their health. Guys, have a great day.